ESPN released an article ranking all 32 NFL rosters heading into training camp, and they have the Chicago Bears with the 17th best projected roster in the NFL. I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome to Chicago Bears Now. They kind of tiered out biggest strengths, weaknesses, X factor. Then they also had their projected starting offense and defense for the Bears with a couple of notable surprises. So we're going to get into all that here on today's show. I want to react to it. And listen, our likes record for the month of June this year on a single video is 927. Pretty good. I want to get to 4 digits, though. Can we get to 1,000 likes on today's video? I think we can with your help. So if you want to support the show, hit that like button. Okay, you look at the ESPN roster outlook. Biggest strength, they went with wide receiver. I think you could have gone receiver or maybe corner or just secondary as a whole, but certainly don't have a problem with this. It is interesting because we haven't seen this receiver group play together yet, but again, this is a projection and how it looks on paper, and certainly the wide receiver group looks very, very good. Again, I mentioned I think this secondary is a strength of this team as well, but certainly don't have a problem with them going receiver with DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Odunze. I do still have some questions about the depth. I think adding DeAndre Carter adds more competition in there. Hopefully Tyler Scott takes a jump. Bayless Jones as well. Colin Johnson, Dante Pettis. You got some interesting names in there, but I still have some questions overall. And I do think this, on paper, we have to see how it all comes to fruition, how it plays out in the football field. I do think this is the best wide receiver trio on paper. I think there's better duos than DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, but I think with the projection of how good Odunze can and should be, I don't think there's a better trio of receivers in the NFL, at least, again, on paper. So got to see how it all plays out. So certainly a strength of this team, at least it should be, and I expect it to be come the 2024 season. Do the Bears have the best receiver trio in the NFL? Do you agree with me? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I think they do. Whether it plays out that way, we'll have to wait and see. I saw the other day, the last time 3 receivers on a team had 1,000 yards, it was Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Bolden, and Steve Breston, of all people, back with Kurt Warner in Arizona. Not sure the Bears can have 3 1,000-yard guys, but we'll see. Should be interesting to follow. All right, biggest weakness, defensive line. I think you could have gone either defensive line or interior offensive line. I think both of those would have been acceptable. Those are 2 position groups we've talked about a ton. Mike Clay of ESPN, who did all these breakdowns, had this to say: Montez Sweat is a star, but he simply doesn't have proven help right now. Consider this. Sweat had 12.5 sacks last season, whereas every other lineman on the roster combined for 9. At edge, Sweat will be joined by an uninspiring group of veterans that includes DeMarcus Walker, Dominic Robinson, and Jacob Martin. At defensive tackle, Andrew Billings is a serviceable vet, and while 2023 Day 2 draft picks Trevon Dexter and Zacch Pickens can make a year 2 leap, neither impress in situational roles as rookies. I'll push back a little on that. I thought both had flashes, especially Dexter. Overall, did they impress at a high level? Probably not, but they had their moments, and certainly in Trevon Dexter's case, I think it's pretty clear that the Bears are banking on him taking a big step. Now, is that blind faith? Do they know something we don't? That remains to be seen, right? I think most football teams enter a training camp, enter a season with, a few spots, even the good teams where it's like, I'm kind of hoping that it works out. But I think the Bears should at least add another pass rusher to this unit. The defensive tackles that are available, it's kind of thin pickings right now. We'll see if a notable guy gets cut and if they want to sign that player. But there's still some edge rushers we've talked about in Ngakoue, Emmanuel Ogbah, et cetera. Like, there's guys you can bring in that can at least help. So we'll see if they do that. I would expect Ryan Poles to do that at some point. All right, the X factor from ESPN, Caleb Williams. Kind of easy, right? And call me crazy, I think you could make a strong argument that Caleb Williams is the biggest X factor in the NFL heading into this season. I would say him and Anthony Richardson are the 2 biggest X factors in this league, because I think a lot of people look at the Bears and the Colts like there's a lot to work with there on both sides of the football. And if these quarterbacks are good, they could be in that playoff, not just playoff mix to make the playoffs, but a threat to win a game or two. Like, if Caleb Williams goes out there and is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL this year, this team should win 10-plus games and be a tough out in the playoffs. Like, I really do believe that. If he's kind of this up-and-down rookie, they're probably fighting for a wild card spot. So we'll see how it plays out. But if Caleb is who we think he is and can be ahead of schedule as a rookie, even have a 85% of a C.J. Stroud rookie season, like this team's going to be pretty dangerous with the amount of ammunition it has on both sides of the football. All right, non-starter to know, Jack Sanborn. I mean, for 2 years now, he's played a pretty big role on the defense. He's a great third linebacker. In 4-3 sets, he will be out there. He'll rotate in nickel and dime situations as well. He's very good against the run. He holds his own against the pass. So yeah, he's definitely a guy to be aware of and understand that he's going to make plays for this defense. All right, subscribe and join the Noti gang here. Step 1, hit that subscribe button. That's how you start. Step 2, hit the notification bell. And then step 3, select all. The default after you hit the notification bell is personalized. Once you select all, which is right above it, what that does essentially is every time we go live and every time we publish a video, you get the notification right away. If you keep it on personalized, YouTube will send you a Noti like 3 hours later, sometimes the next day, and by then it might be old news. So you follow those steps, you get videos in real time, so don't miss out on that. Okay, let's now shift to the projected starting lineups from ESPN, and there's a couple of notable ones in here that I have thoughts on. No surprises here as we start with the Bears offense, as quarterback, receivers, running back, tight end, pretty straightforward, right? Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Odunze, Cole Kmet. Those are all expected. That would all be a surprise if it didn't go that way. But then you get to the offensive line. Braxton Jones, yeah. Teven Jenkins, yeah. Coleman Shelton, interesting. Nate Davis and Darnell Wright. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Nate Davis. Again, for now, he's going to be penciled in as your starting right guard, no question. Coleman Shelton's interesting, though. I think most believe that Bates will get the first crack at being that starting center. Now, recently, Matt Eberflus and Chris Morgan, the offensive line coach, called this an open competition, but I think the Bears would like Bates to win that job since they did trade for him. So I'm a little surprised that they put Shelton in there as the projected starter. Again, this is just Mike Clay, ESPN's kind of prediction, whatever you want to call it, but that caught my attention. Defense now. Again, not a ton of surprises here, but one that really stands out. Montez Sweat, Andrew Billings, Zacch Pickens, that's the surprise. DeMarcus Walker, again, for now, unless they sign an edge rusher, he would probably start. TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmunds. Pickens over Dexter, I don't think ESPN did their homework on this one. Zacch Pickens mostly was Andrew Billings' backup nose last year. Now, I actually think he's playing slightly out of position. I think he fits more as a 3-tech, so maybe ESPN's saying, hey, he needs to play 3-tech this year, and that's fine, but Dexter's been getting the work with the ones. Like, I don't know if they just didn't know that or if they are just projecting he'll beat Dexter out in camp or something like that, but that was the biggest shocker. Like, I don't think you'll see many starting lineup projections that have Zacch Pickens as the projected starter. If he is, that's great. That probably means he has an awesome camp in preseason, but I would be shocked by that. I don't think that's happening. And then the secondary, no surprises here. Jaylon Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon at nickel there. And then your two safeties, Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard. So a couple of surprises on the starting lineup projections from ESPN. Give me your thoughts down in the comments. And also, grade the Bears 2024 roster. Going into the season, A, B, C, D, or F. I thought 17 was actually a little low. I mean, obviously this team only won 7 games last year. But, you know, if you think Caleb is even just solid, like, this feels like a top half of the roster to me. Like, 12 to 15, somewhere in there. Obviously, we got to see them win, but they got a lot of pieces here. So I'm going to go solid B, which with the potential of being B+ or better if Caleb hits and a couple other guys could step up in key areas. All right, appreciate everybody for tuning in again. Let's get to 1,000 likes on today's video. 940-something is the record this month. Let's see if we can get to 1,000. We're going to do Bears Now Live tomorrow on Friday. With today being the second round of the NBA draft, we're preoccupied with that. But a little Friday special for you guys. We'll do another Madden simulation there. So join us for that. Probably 4 Central. We'll probably stick to that time slot. Maybe we'll do 3, but it'll be in the afternoon. Another reason to have the notifications turned on. And we'll see you then. Peace.